At the outset, I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation for having me here to share some of my thoughts on my country's relation with North Korea. In particular, my special thanks to Mr. Roni, with whom I have been in email contact the last 3-4 months, and through that only I chose and selected this particular topic. This is a long paper, right? I would like to only give a summary of the main points. Before I touch upon the main points of my presentation, 3 issues I would like to mention. India's relation with, I would say, the Korean Peninsula is not recent. It has a long history. And here, 3 points I think stand out according to my understanding. Number 1, most Koreans know that the story of an Indian princess marrying King Soro many decades ago, and that still leaves its imprint in the Korean mind. And 80% of the current generation of Kim family, they claim their descendants to that Kim dynasty. That is number 1. Number 2, India's Nobel laureate, Rajaram, he wrote a poem, Lamp of the East, that is often cited as a major appreciation of Korean people as the torchbearer of Asia. And number 3, the humanitarian assistance and India's role in the Korean War, not in terms of military intervention. India did not do that, and India never believes in doing that, but mainly humanitarian assistance, in particular, sending a medical team to attend to the injured soldiers. I think these 3 points are worth keeping in mind when we examine and try to understand the current relationship between India and both the Koreas, I would say. So India decided to have diplomatic relation with both the Koreas. That is what India's foreign policy has been then and until today. It is neutral that way, though lately the sense of neutrality to some extent has been interpreted to have been diluted because of some recent North Korean policies. I will come to that later. So the question arises, is North Korea India's friend? I gave a lot of thought to select the title of my topic. That is, and then finally I choose. Are we friends, if not foes? Foes, of course, we are not. But are we friends? If we are friends, how do we define friendship? Having diplomatic ties with the country doesn't mean that we are having friendship, because there are strategic, political, economic considerations. And there may be many divergences of interests. So, this led me to raise 3 research questions. Number 1, as I say, is North Korea India's friend? The answer that when I debated, the answer that I found was, it could be both yes and no. Why it is yes? Let me elaborate. It is because, as I said, India has historical and civilizational links with the Korean Peninsula. Before it was divided, and the Korean War experience has said. Why it is no? Because of certain policies which North Korea has been pursuing, especially, in particular, North Korea's allegedly nuclear links with Pakistan, with which India has been having an adversarial relationship, which goes against India's political as well as strategic interests. This is what I am trying to analyze and I have tried to explain in my paper. The second research question is, how does India deal with North Korea vis-a-vis the later suspected nuclear links with Pakistan and Myanmar? That is the second research question. The third research question is, how does South Korea or view or should view to India's ties with the North? Because as most of you know, India's relations with South Korea is robust in terms of political, economic, and we have built a very solid foundation for a strategic partnership. And we have in India major South Korean companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, they are all household names now. And in terms of defense cooperation also, we have not Vietnam, but then the China factor in mind, and that has brought both the countries together. So does it mean that if India is having diplomatic ties with North Korea, India's relation with South Korea will be adversely affected? Not necessarily, according to my understanding. Because from Indian perspective, Indian government official policy takes into consideration that South Korea is appreciative of India's position why India is having a relationship with North Korea. On the other hand, there is scope whether and if India can be leveraged in terms of having a dialogue or some kind of engagement and try to influence the North Korean policy towards on its nuclear policy, and also attempt to integrate or maybe bring about changes in the in North Korea, which will be welcome for the rest of Asia. I mentioned in the both the three research questions are interrelated. So the answers to these three questions will be overlapping when I go on explaining a little further. When I was a student in Jawaharlal University in the 70s, India's North Korea was always in the forefront in the relationship between India and North Korea. And we as students were very much enthusiastic to see North Korean films, which the embassy used to screen there, and also and the Rajaram University was the question of the left movement, even now also to some extent it does. And in most of the rooms in the dormitories, you'll find a book called Kim Il-sung. That is how they were trying to propagate their policy. The problem started and this continued till the 80s and early 90s. The problem started in early 90s when during the rule of Prime Minister Rajaram, and then the question of alleged nuclear links came into surface. When and the father of Pakistan's nuclear bomb, Dr. A.Q. Khan, he seemed to have visited North Korea 12-13 times. And it was in 1994 when Bhutto herself came to North Korea and secretly brought confidential data. So these are news which are disturbing from Indian point of view. And there is a book written by Shyam Bhatia, an Indian journalist, whose father also was a very eminent journalist, passed away now. And Shyam Bhatia works for the Observer. He wrote a book, Sahajadi, Goodbye Sahajadi. Goodbye my friend. Sahajadi means my friend. Goodbye my friend. That is the meaning. In which he had mentioned that he had interviewed Benazir Bhutto where she had admitted to this. And this book was published in 2008. But it remains a mystery why the book was published 1 year after Benazir Bhutto was assassinated. But these are all historical facts which are disturbing from Indian point of view. My second point of emphasis would be there have been a series of visits from other countries to each other. Many Indian political leaders have been visiting in the past and have also visited in recent time. Even though even when India's relations with South Korea started zooming and India's relation with North Korea started declining, the diplomatic ties remained intact. Most recently, last April, we were a bit surprised to read in the newspaper that North Korea's foreign minister made a surprise visit to India. Why did he do so at that particular time? The timing of the visit is very significant. That is what I try to stress upon. And this was the first visit in 25 years that a foreign minister of North Korea decided to pay a rare visit to India. Though both India and North Korea established relations in December 1973, as I said, the timing cannot be missed because India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was scheduled to make a 3-nation visit to China, Mongolia and South Korea in next month, May 2015. For India, this gave a good opportunity to reassess its stand on the ongoing conflict between South and both the Koreas. As scheduled, whatever he visited, as scheduled, the Foreign Minister met his counterpart, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, and the Vice President Amit Ansari. Again, another significance of the timing. One cannot also miss the timing of the visit of India's Defense Minister, Manohar Parrikar, who left on a 4-day visit to South Korea on 14th April. Even when the Foreign Minister of North Korea was in India, our Defense Minister had already landed up in South Korea. So one can read between the lines how these are all being timed and what are the implications and significance. So the question arises, what for? What are the purpose of Ri Su-young's current visit to India? Of course, he has been visiting different countries on behalf of his country to sell North Korea's policies. But the significance of his visit to India cannot be missed because it came at a time when probably it was felt that when North Korea's ties with China is becoming distant because of, all of us know, and we have debated this for the last 3 sessions, maybe it's possible that North Korea was looking for deepening its maybe friendship or deepening its ties with other friendly countries. And this also gives an opportunity, gave an opportunity to India to reassess its stand on the Korean Peninsula issue and also rethink whether it can have the scope for playing a positive role in diffusing North Korea's nuclear issue. This is what I am trying to mention because India is an emerging Asian power, but it is a very benign power. Its focus is to engage with as many countries as possible without taking any alliance route, unlike, for example, Japan and South Korea. Because yesterday in the graduate students in presentation, it is mentioned that the non-alignment was a major factor. Though I would say that non-alignment has shaped to a large extent India's foreign policy, but we don't actually talk much about non-alignment in these days. According to my understanding, I think the essence of non-alignment ended in 1971 when just before the war, Bangladesh Liberation War, which India intervened to liberate the East Pakistan and helped march the new country, Bangladesh. India had already signed a defensive and cooperation treaty with the then Soviet Union. So from that time onwards, I think the essence of the principle of neutrality was already diluted. Having said that, I also would like to mention the spirit of non-alignment, I think, which has shaped India's foreign policy, continues to shape India's foreign policy outlook and perspective. That cannot be denied. As has been the policy of North Korean leaders, the economy is in shambles and they need foreign aid. And in 2011, North Korea had approached India, and India was very happy to provide 1 million watt food aid through the World Food Program, which South Korea didn't object because it was purely humanitarian. Means South Korea does understand the compulsion why North Korea actually wanted it. And in 2013, when the third nuclear test was conducted, just after that, India sent a delegation led by the Joint Secretary East Asia of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is not in my paper, but I'm mentioning for the to help the interpreters. That time it was reported that India did that under pressure from the United States, which is not true. The visit of the Joint Secretary was planned much before the third nuclear test. That means from India's side also, India is trying to reach out to North Korea in whatever way it can help to play a positive role. From North Korea's point of view, North Korea would like to engage with India economically. From India's point of view, ever since the Look-East policy was enunciated in the early 1990s, and the current government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has renamed it as Act East policy. And the Act East policy, North Korea doesn't figure. But North Korea would be very happy and is very keen that North Korea also is also comes under the ambit of India's Act East policy. That could be another reason why the Foreign Minister ended up in New Delhi. The third reason would be to increase the economic ties, to deepen and expand the economic ties. But then, even though India might be willing, the environment for private investment or even government capital coming into North Korean projects is not conducive for the Indian companies to jump into that, because they will require safety. And it was discussed in the previous session how the situation is pretty bad. So the overall picture doesn't seem to be very rosy. So our foreign minister made it very categorical that any help from Indian side will be conditional. So as I said, this gave an opportunity for India to understand and assess the Indian political leaders were forthright in telling that this is what you are doing, we don't approve of it. If you change this, maybe we are willing to help you. In 2013, June, during the East Asia Summit in Brunei, it was the UPA government then, the United Progressive Alliance led by the second UPA government led by Manmohan Singh. The Foreign Minister Salman Khurshid had met his counterpart there in Brunei, and this is what mentioning he told him. Even that time also, the nuclear issue came into the discussion. That time Khurshid had told journalists after the meeting, and I quote, I told him, this is North Korea's foreign minister, that it was important not to get isolated. If you do not get isolated, you will have friends to help you. But if you get isolated, it becomes difficult to even your friends to help you. So that is what is India's position. Yeah, I'll just come to that. I'll finish it. And in July 2013, India had dispatched a 3-member team to Pyongyang, and the composition is very interesting. Again, the Indian government was in power. There was one CPIM, Communist Party Marxist leader, one BJP, that is the right wing, and one Congress. So 3 leaders. What for they went to keep the dialogue on. And the latest has been in April 2015, when the Minister of State for Home, Kirin Riju, he visited on, not April, 15th September, to participate in an event marking the North Korean National Independence Day in Delhi. Does it mean there will be can we expect a turnaround in the India-North Korea relations that has remained low-key so far? He said, when questioned by the journalist, he said, the bilateral ties are, and again I quote, going to change. What does it mean? We have to read between the lines as academics. Even the former Foreign Secretary, M.K. Rajgotra, he retired many years ago. When he was asked about his opinion, he says, traditionally, India discouraged ministerial interaction with North Korea, but now that has changed now. As a punishment for its ties with Pakistan and by sending Riju, India has set a new practice in conducting diplomacy. So that is the new change. Now my concluding observations will be like this. If you can give me just 1 more minute. As North Korea is trying to reach out to India, India should seize the opportunity to launch a diplomatic offensive and take measures that could help reduce influence of China and bring reconciliation between the 2 Koreas. That has been the, that is my way of assessing what should be India's approach and contribution. That could help enhance India's standing as an international and emerging aspiring power. It may be mentioned that India's efforts and influence helped the Myanmar government to get out of China's influence to some extent, and subsequent lifting of sanctions, leading to its integration to the international community. Can one expect a similar role for India in the Korean Peninsula? I would expect to be so. Persuading the regime in Pyongyang to talk to South Korea unconditionally would be a good start, and that is why I think India can have some positive contribution. The international community would be too willing to extend all possible help by way of aid, investment, and technical cooperation if the regime gives up the nuclear path and embraces market economy, for which we have discussed extensively. That would be in the interest of the country and its people. The people of North Korea suffering from oppression for long deserve to live with dignity. It is up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to choose how to use his star offensive. He has been using that extensively. Like Prime Minister Abe, he has been traveling all over the world, selling India's role. Use the star offensive that could help restore durable peace in the Korean Peninsula. I am sorry to take some extra time, and sorry, Sarah, to include into your time. Thank you very much. These are some thoughts which I thought I would share.